Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This video is going to be on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. We saw the episode tonight. I'm going to start out with Jennifer and Margaret. That's what we saw going south on the last episode when it was to be continued. And Jennifer and Margaret are going back and forth. And Margaret lets out that Jennifer's husband, Bill, had an affair and everyone knows it. And with his office manager. Jennifer is pissed and she says, if you're going to tell it right. It was a pharmaceutical rep. So it's out there that he's had an affair. It was several years ago. I believe she said it was like 10 years ago. She chose to stay with the marriage, keep her family together. She forgave her husband and they moved on. I have mixed feelings about this because a lot of people are saying, oh, Margaret was horrible for even bringing that up. That was below the belt. But Jennifer's done a lot of horrible things to her too. Jennifer has repeatedly brought up the fact that Margaret and Joe had an affair before they were married. Jennifer said that she understood why Margaret has affairs because that's how she was brought up, because her mother had an affair with a married man for 15 years. And to me, that was below the belt when you start bringing in someone's mother. So Jennifer's done a lot of things to Margaret for Margaret to dislike her. So I can see both sides of the coin. I can see why Margaret is so mad at Jennifer and why she would do something like that. But I also see Jennifer's point is now she has to explain this to her children. Her kids didn't know. So now she has to explain to them when they start hearing these rumors or other kids bring it up. But in the same sense, you sign onto a reality TV show where all of your business is out there. Not just what we see on TV. People go searching, they go digging, they see what else they can find. So it's not just what we see. Everything, your dirty laundry is out there for everyone to see. So Jennifer had to know that at some point, if this was a well-known fact, that it would come out. Jennifer likes to be messy and get into other people's relationships, but she's having a really difficult time now with someone getting into hers. Like I said, I see both sides of the coin. It is what it is. It's out there, and now Jennifer's going to have to deal with it. Teresa weighs in and says, well, that's no different than what I did last year. So how is that any different? This was my party. She did this at my party. She's no better than I was. Teresa, if that's what helps you sleep at night, honey, go for it. We'll get into more about that in a minute. Then we head on to Gia and Joe Gorga. As I said in my last video, I don't think that he should be running down the kid's father to where they can hear it. And with him being on reality TV, everything he says is going to be out there. So he should not be saying anything about Joe Giudice, as far as I'm concerned, because of the kids. So we see with the argument, and Gia does give Joe some attitude, and I can see where Joe would see that as disrespectful. However, he's got to realize she's an adult now, and he's made this bed by having this feud with her father. I would think that he could see that if something like this were to happen with him, that his kids would have his back, just like Gia's having her dad's back. They finally do talk. They come to an agreement that they're going to agree to disagree. Joe promises that he won't say anything else about Giudice because of the kids. You know, he wants to mend that relationship. He is their godfather. So he's going to have to pick a side. And by pick a side, I mean he's going to have to either choose to continue to hate Joe Giudice and spew that out there, or he's going to have to continue to suck it up, keep it inside, and not put it out there for the world to see. Because when the world sees it, Joe Giudice's kids see it. That's how it is. You got a choice to make. I'm not too thrilled with the storyline with them going this way because I don't think that the kids should be brought into it. Yes, Gia is 21, so she's not technically a kid anymore. But she is a child of the marriage of Teresa and Joe Giudice. And Joe Gorga is her uncle. I don't think that they should be going that route. I'm hoping that that fizzles out and that they don't continue on with that, because I don't enjoy seeing it, personally. I don't enjoy seeing the pain on Joe's face. I don't enjoy seeing the pain on Gia's face. And I don't think that the kids should be put in that position. We'll see where they take it, but that's just my 2 cents. Jackie and Jennifer had a really rough road last year. Jackie's compassionate, and she can see that Jennifer's hurting, and she thinks that Jennifer needs a friend. So she's reaching out to Jennifer and trying to be a friend to her. They meet, they talk. It was an okay conversation. Jennifer wasn't too happy that Jackie said that she understood where Margaret was coming from by saying that, because Jennifer had said a lot of hateful things and mean things to her and about her. So Jennifer wasn't too happy that she didn't have 100% of Jackie's support. And she even tells Jackie, well, Teresa thinks it was wrong, and Dolores thinks it was wrong that Margaret said that. Then it shows Dolores and Margaret shopping together, and Margaret's filling Dolores in on everything that actually went down that the cameras didn't show. That Jennifer actually reached out to Frank, because supposedly Frank knew the girl that Jackie's husband was supposedly had an affair with. So she reached out to him for information and trying to dig up information. She also reached out to a third party that's not on the show, that knows the girl or knew some kind of information or whatever. So she called them and was like, okay, spill the beans. So Jennifer was actively looking for dirt on Ethan. That will come back to bite her in the butt, I think, when Jackie finds out. We shall see. Back to Teresa. Teresa still does not think what she did last year was a problem of any sort. She did nothing wrong. She just repeated a rumor. She didn't agree with it. She didn't disagree with it. She just repeated a rumor. She honestly does not get it, that what she did was wrong. In her mind, it's just not clicking. Oh, well, a rumor's not the same thing as facts. No, it's not the same thing as facts. But if you're going to get mad at Margaret for stating facts, then you ought to be mad at yourself for stating rumors, because that's even worse, because it's not true. Like Jackie said, she was able to tell her kids that the rumors weren't true. Jennifer can't do that. Jennifer is seen on TV admitting to it. So she's going to have to explain it to her children. And the producers say, they asked Teresa, so you still don't see anything wrong with what you did with Ethan last year? And she says, no, I just repeated a rumor. I didn't say it was true, didn't say it wasn't true. I just repeated a rumor. She just doesn't get it. Sometimes I wonder about Teresa, because she cannot be that ignorant. I think she plays more ignorant than what she actually is. I think Teresa's a very smart woman, but her way of thinking sometimes is just scrambled to me. So then they go to Dolores' party. Dolores has like a little housewarming party for to show off her new condo. And all the girls are there. Jennifer comes in, and she goes to walk into the kitchen, and she just gets overwhelmed. She can't do it. Everybody's standing there, and she kind of backs up. And Jackie takes her hand and pulls her into another room. It's like, just calm down, just breathe. It'll be okay. When you're ready, we'll go in together. And Jennifer's saying, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just overwhelmed. I just don't know if I can do this. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to act. And I think she's a bit embarrassed, because she has been going on and on about how her relationship with her husband was the best, and she had the perfect marriage, and she had the perfect family, and she had the perfect everything. And now we're finding out that it's not always been so perfect, and that facade is kind of fading, and I think she's embarrassed. But anyway, Jackie's talking to her, trying to calm her down. Well, then Dolores comes in there and was like, why are you crying? Stop that right now. There's no sense in that. And Jackie says she's just overwhelmed. Well, there's no sense in it. You just need to suck it up, blah, blah, blah. And it's very, very condescending to me. And while they're doing this, then Margaret comes in and says, looks at Jennifer and says, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Well, duh, everybody knows why she's crying. But anyway, Margaret tells everyone else to leave, and she sits down and she starts trying to talk to Jennifer. And they're going back and forth, and Margaret's telling her, you know, you didn't mind trying to dig up dirt last year on Ethan, and how do you think Jackie would feel if she knew you were doing that? Well, Jackie's overhearing this conversation, so she comes back in, and Jennifer's like, I just need to be honest with you. I was just being nosy. And Jackie kind of loses it and says, I do not want to talk about my husband anymore. That's over with. That's done with. It was not true, and I don't want my husband mentioned anymore. Well, then everybody ends up going to the kitchen and starts having drinks and food and whatever. And Jennifer's like, I just can't do this. I got to go. I'm leaving. And she left. So I don't know how Jennifer's going to pull it together to stay with these women, to actually film with these women, because this is the second time now that she's just left. She left Teresa's party after the thing, and after her and Margaret got into it, she just left, didn't say bye to anybody, just left. She basically did the same thing at Dolores's party. So she's going to have to get it together if she's going to be able to film with these women. I don't know how. I don't know how this is going to go. But I see a very different Jennifer this year than I saw last year. Last year, to me, Jennifer was a bully. She dug deep. If she liked you, you were good. If she didn't, she was awful to you. And like I said in the last video, she blamed it a lot on the drinking. And this year, I haven't even seen her drink. Somebody tried to hand her a glass of wine at Dolores's party, and she's like, no. And they're like, here, you just need a little. She's like, no. So I think after last year, she's a little bit more self-aware when it comes to the alcohol, which, number one, is a good thing. We will see if that continues throughout the season. But I don't know how she's going to come back around these women, and Bill to come back around the men, because he's mortified. He's embarrassed that it's out. When they were filming for this episode, he was at home upstairs and he wouldn't even come out because he's embarrassed. So we'll see how long it takes him to get back in the mix of things with the guys. The previews for next week do show Jackie telling Jennifer that Dolores is not being a friend to her. And then it shows Jackie and Dolores getting into it. So we'll see where that goes next week. But tell me what you think in the comments below. What did you think about the episode? Where do you see this season going? The changes that have been made in the women, do you like them? Do you not? I'm actually excited to see where this season goes. I only watched 2 of the Housewives, and that's New Jersey and Atlanta. I cannot wait for Atlanta to come back home. But I am going to watch the Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I've got that taping tonight, so I'll probably try to watch that tomorrow if there's nothing going on Big Brother, if they're doing a competition or whatever. Because I'm still doing the live feeds on that as well. Oh, I'm going to be a very tired woman by the end of this month, but we're going to get there. Please remember, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. Tell me what you think. Comment. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see me do differently. And we'll go from there. As always, have a good night and much love.